I'm Tim Schaefer, Racine, Pensacola. I'm here with This Saturday. Just give it an intro to the band, even like, I don't know, type of genres that you're playing, your goals, recent release or something that's about to come out.
As far as new releases, we just did the things we did.
Yep.
I just went to New York and did a video with Tom Flynn for that.
Which I watched. It was a great video.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was really fun. Recorded that song pretty much at our home studio. Sent it off, and Nick Scott is our main producer, which we love working with him. Did that one, and then as far as like goals, this year playing some shows, keep putting content out. Our goal has stayed pretty steady the whole time. You know, just putting out content and pretty much doing what we want to do. We've been in hardcore bands and metal bands and did the whole touring thing and all that for many years, and now that we're all older and have businesses and stuff, kind of getting the numbers up on the internet and, you know, getting the streams up and stuff like that.
What would y'all consider yourselves in terms of genre? It's kind of hard to put it somewhere, but I guess I would say somewhere of like, just, I guess, punk rock. Mixed with, you know, some flirting of hardcore. Like I saw one of my favorite songs actually with All That Remains, which is like one of my favorite groups. And that song, I don't know how to say it, but I know it's based off of like what, earthquake measuring?
Yeah, Richter. Yeah. So
okay.
The thing about us is we just write what we want to write.
Okay.
So when we get together, we could be feeling a pop punk song. We could be feeling a metal song like Richter. You know what I mean? Metalcore. A rock song. I mean, we'll do like new trendy post-hardcore songs like Dirty Games and stuff like that. It's kind of just what we want to do, and that was one of the things when we, it's like 5 years ago, I guess, when we first started. They were all flustered, him and Casey, which is the bassist and stuff like that, and they were just kind of like really upset, you know, like with the whole Arson Wave thing.
I mean, you don't have to get way into it, but why? I mean, in a general sense, why were you upset?
Well, Arson Wave ended up being a really big letdown, so let's rewind even far. Man, we got plenty of beer. This is going to be a long story.
This is a good story.
This is actually a really good story. This is actually how this all got started and why we are where we are.
Okay.
And so let's rewind back. We started Arson Wave with our good friend Kenny, Adam, and Mike Turpin. Adam and Casey were both in Drayton Sawyer. We were in Drayton Sawyer together. I was formerly the drummer of Drayton Sawyer. So I moved to vocals. We got Mike Turpin in. Kenny's on guitar. Sounded good. Before that, me and this guy used to meet on Thursday nights for 6 to 8 months, and we would just sit here and drink beer and talk about, like, if we were to start a band, how would we do it marketing wise? Okay. Like, how would you roll out an album? How would you roll out videos? How would you scheme the whole thing? Like what? And I mean, now this is almost 10 years ago now. This is like 8 years ago or so. 2016, yeah, so 8 years ago. So we like thought about how we were gonna do this. We started Arson Wave all in 1 year leading up to that of me and him planning this. So I ended up becoming the drummer. He stays just our main marketing guy, just the dude making it happen. He was the 6th member of the band. We used to say that all the time, man.
Like management.
So, yeah.
So like managed them somehow.
Man, every image that you've seen of Arson Wave was all from him. Okay. You know what I mean? All of that stuff, and it all came from the strategy of just talking some shit on Thursday nights, man. We would get hammered and just throw spit. We call it spitball, man. We just see what sticks to the wall, you know. And so we would do that.
Is that kind of why there's a lot of covers of other songs? Because if you're doing marketing and all that and really trying to get
in Arson Wave, that was definitely the goal in Arson Wave. With this band, we do whatever we want.
We just like the songs.
Yeah.
Like they did. Like we're gonna put Mama Tried out on Spotify and Apple. It's on YouTube right now, and we did turn that punk. And then
that George Strait song, that was
pretty
because you know you have to pay for the licensing and stuff like that, and we don't get kickbacks on that. But yeah, we just liked those songs.
Yeah, we just liked it. Yeah. So you know, just kind of, and I'll try to make the whole Arson Wave thing brief or whatever. But so you know, we strategized this whole thing. 2 years into Arson Wave, it ended up not happening. So we played our last show. Man, I actually looked at all this today, these dates or whatever. So we played our last show in 2019, February, Arson Wave in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
It was in New Orleans.
That's right.
I knew we were going to see our producer while we were in New Orleans, and me and Casey were pretty pissed with everything that happened with Arson Wave. Not necessarily anybody in the band's fault. It's just life, man. We've been down this road a million times. So in the last show of Arson Wave, we knew we were going to see our producer there, which is Jonathan Dolease, who has Concrete Studios. Me and Casey did not know what we were going to do. We just knew that it was going to be him on drums, and we were just going to figure it out. We didn't know what it was going to sound like. So I went ahead and put a deposit on our next record. When I saw Dolease, we had nothing written.
Okay.
No ideas, no nothing. So I kind of got busy with work, so we didn't have any songs. And I asked Casey a week before we left. I was like, dude, please tell me you have something demoed or something. He's like, I don't have anything demoed, but I have this song. And he played Zombie on acoustic for me and sang it. And I was like, all right, cool, that's it. That's what we're going to do.
Like Cranberry Zombies?
No, it's like it's on the first EP.
It's one of our songs called Zombie.
It's Zombie, and that's like the song that, I mean, with Jonathan and Casey, I mean, they kind of helped shape the sound.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very organic.
On that Six Beers EP?
Exactly.
Six pack. And don't want to jump ahead, but that's one of our big goals as a sophomore will be like 12 pack of bottles.
Okay.
And then I think that might end the drinking.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, how do you keep this going?
You don't.
Well, we're going to switch to hard drugs eventually.
Yeah.
There you go. Heroin, man.
Yeah.
But man, it was crazy, man. And we can talk about, because Casey's not here, but some definitely need to mention is like, so Casey was bassist in Arson Wave. And Casey's always been kind of like in the back, if I may. You know, would you agree with that?
I mean, Planet Piss, dude. You know, your typical
Like
bass
playing
player,
bass, but not really
He didn't have any other role.
no
It's
not getting any
presence,
spotlight time,
maybe.
yeah.
Right. And so when because that song, he sang on it. And we all kind of were going home from listening, looping the track on the way home. We're like, Casey, man, you can sing. And he was like,
Magic.
And so the thing I want to say is like the crazy thing about Casey is Casey came out of his shell, out of this band. Like, who fucking knew that he would be like singing? Like, I didn't. You didn't know.
Right. Yeah.
Shit.
Came out of nowhere with it, man.
Because Nick can scream, I can scream, and Nick's got a good punk voice too. So we knew these kind of dynamics a little bit, but like Casey was like, what the fuck, bro? Like hitting harmonies.
So who's singing on that? It's like one of my favorite tracks. It's almost like Christmas vibe. I Got You, or
Oh, that's You Got Me. That's
You Got
so
Me.
funny, man. That song has been trending for a while.
That was a joke.
That's Casey.
That's a joke.
That's Casey.
I genuinely love that
Yeah,
track.
that's cool, man.
It's
Yeah.
really
That's
good.
Casey.
That's Casey, and my
so that's
dad's
what I'm
doing
wondering.
harmony on it.
Okay. Your dad's doing all
He was in the studio one day, and we were
That's
all
it.
drinking. We were like, "Yeah, get in there and knock out some harmonies."
That was interesting, yeah. And,
Anyway, but yeah, so that's Casey. Okay.
And he sings and plays bass and stuff like
Well,
that.
he sounds good.
Yeah, he's been killing it, man. The absolute amazing lyric writer too,
And songwriter.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
yeah.
both of y'all.
Yeah, man.
So at this point in this band, is he writing most of the songs now?
It's kind of like we all kind of and we spitball, man.
Okay.
We throw it against the wall and see what happens. Usually, what happens is somebody comes up with an idea, and then they'll send me a demo, and I do all the tracking, and then we'll all sit down together. And it's kind of like, it goes through, we call it the chopping block. It goes through 3 different stages. So you got your first demo, and then when we sit down in my studio and track it, you got your second demo, and then when it gets to the producer, it gets chopped up even more, and then you got your third demo and stuff. And just recently, by the time it gets to the second one, we've been getting them back, and they've been less and less chopped up, and parts corrected or, stuff moved around and stuff like that. But that's why we always prefer to use a producer too, because you always get that.
It's good to get an
Outside
outside.
perspective.
Yes, that's what
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what they're for.
100%.
That's what they're for. That's their job, is
Yeah.
to tell us like yes, no.
They're like for days, if not weeks, of like, I don't know what to do with this anymore. It's driving me crazy.
Right.
Creative
And they
block,
just
yeah.
need somebody else.
Just need that push, man.
Yeah.
We do that for each other a lot, man. And
Yeah.
we've learned that about each other is sometimes I'll write something and I'll send it to them, and it'll just be way out of left field. I know it's not good when I get no response in the group chat. Like, hey, check the song out. I'll be so excited about it, I get no response, and then I'll just get hazed for it the whole next weekend. You know, be like, sick song, dude. You know?
Right, I mean,
So you're discovering him. He's actually does that one song, and you're like, oh, actually, you're awesome, right? So then you start integrating him more into more tracks and all that. And then this is like what? When is that? 2019, 2020?
this is
Beginning of 2019, second
Yeah.
quarter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just, and then we were like, okay, this sounds good. Let's do an EP,
Yeah.
and let's do. I think you already. I swear you already had it deposited or something like that.
Yeah, we already had it paid for. So we went and did. So we went to Dolly's, did Zombie. We immediately liked the Zombies. We immediately liked that song. So we were like, hey, we'll be back in 2 weeks to do 4 more songs. So we came back in 2 weeks, knocked those 4 out. By the end of that 4, we started making a habit out of every time we would go do a session, by the end of the session, we'd pay for the next session.
Right.
Because we're very like deadline driven. So
Now,
like
4 tracks in 2 weeks. That's very fast.
yeah, written from nothing too. And so we did. So we would do that. We made a habit of booking the sessions each time we would go out there, and then we did the next 6-pack in like August or something like that of 2019. So
Yeah,
we did the 2 6-packs that year.
The reason we're moving fast, I can explain why we're like just pumping it out, because again, this goes back to like everyone can relate to this, of like spending too much time in the studio, doing live drums, spending fucking $30,000 on recording and all this stuff, and then you gotta wait on it for 3 months.
Feeling like
Yeah.
you're
And then-
like not doing enough fast enough.
Right, and
Right.
and that's just the old way. That's what it used to be. We didn't have digital interfaces and all this kind of stuff back then, so you'd have to be dependent on these producers that would take 3 months. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
that's one reason he started engineering
Okay.
and stuff like that. And we were just kind of at the point where, like, throwing shit against the wall pretty much. But we knew what we wanted to sound like. We knew the songs were good. We just knew, like, we needed to move fast. And that's where Dolise, we told him, we're like, hey man, can you please get these back to us in like 2 weeks? And like, we'll pay for the next session. So, and it kind of intrigued them, to kind of keep them sparked, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And then we weren't, last thing I'll say about that is that the whole artist,
Oh yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
we're not,
Why?
well, it's, everyone wants their music to sound perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone wants
Okay.
everyone wants the perfect transition into the chorus and all these kind of things.
Knowing when to just drop it
And just move on.
Yes.
So that's what
Yeah.
we do with our songs. 6-pack of bottles, and 12-pack was more refined because we had found a sound and spent more time on that. But man, we just throw it out there, and it's still to this day, and we'll get to that towards the end of what we're doing right now. But like, that's where we're at, man. We're just, and I talk about this in my business all the time. Like, if it's 90% good, and we're all fucking stoked about it, sounds good, man. Could we sit here and spend another 2 weeks on it to get it to 100%? Sure. Is it worth it? Maybe. But
This is probably my biggest struggle in my life, is like learning to just accept, like,
Yep.
yes, I
Yeah.
hear these little errors, but I need to keep telling myself I'm the only one fucking hearing
Right.
it.
You're closer to it than anyone
No
else.
one else hears shit.
pretty much us too, man. And some of the songs
Yeah.
that we have errors on, for sure. People don't ever hear them and
Yeah.
like, I fucking love that song.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
like,
No one's ever said, man, you notice I heard like a squeak right before. No one has ever said that to me.
they don't.
You know?
And it's all. It's,
And there's plenty of them that I hear it too, you know?
and that's because we're artists. Because
Yeah.
we're all trained, that. But that's one thing that has led us to where we can be creative, and we've got like 50 fucking songs in the catalog right now. It's because just like, get it out there, dude. Like, why wait? And that's one thing with our producers lately, because we work with a handful, well, not a handful, like 2 or 3 recently, but Nick
Right,
Scott's
yeah.
our, and what we can expand on them later. But like, man, he engineers it, gets it to Nick. Nick
Yeah.
gets it back to us in less than a week.
Yeah. 48 hours most of the time per song.
And he's
usually.
Sick.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, he's a top tier dude,
Yeah.
and giving us that kind of like attention is nice. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the whole.
Just to expand on the whole artist thing too, so I think it's very important for every band to sit at a table together and have a talk and say, what is our goal here?
Mm-hmm.
Is our goal here purely art? Because if that's the case, then, you know, every note counts. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And everybody has their game plan, and make sure everybody's on the same table with that. Now, if you're saying, we want to, and the artist in me hates this whole mantra about the whole thing, but at some point, if the band sits down and says, hey, we want to make progress and maybe make some money out of it, or not that there's any money in the damn music industry at the lower level, but at some point you have to sacrifice, you know, dissecting every note for marketability and content, you know, because I mean,
Well,
we do live in
isn't
the
it
internet
overall
age.
just technically balance?
Sure.
Right? Maybe that's what the actual key is, finding that fine line between
Right.
you want to actually care about the music, but you want to actually put out the content and not obsess too hard, and
Right.
it's finding
And
that
not sell
like,
out. You know,
That's it.
middle ground.
That's it. That right there is like what we're after right there.
Yeah.
Finding the middle ground.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we're just, man, and it's all fun for us. This is a hobby for us. Now, some of us have a little bit more drive than others when it comes to, like, you know, the end goal and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
gonna happen.
Yeah,
for
for sure.
all of us, and we'll get to Jared soon too, is we're all in it to have fun. And that's where I think we differentiate a lot with lots of bands, where a lot of people are so like, image, and image does count and stuff like that, and your great production, great songwriting, but at the end of the day, man, like, you gotta have fun. You gotta be able to go hang out with your dudes and like have a good time.
You're saying all that, but your production is fucking killer. Over everything else, I think the production is what's the best part of your band, is what I've noticed.
That did not happen overnight, man.
No, it didn't.
It took a lot of those Thursday nights, dude.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, this has been 8 years in the making, and like, we don't play a lot of shows, especially with this band. We haven't played any shows, and that's been kind of the thing, is like, man, we are doing exactly what we did on those Thursday nights 8 years ago. This is exactly what we wanted to do with Arson Wave.
Yeah.
What we're doing with this band. And like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still doing it, you know?
Who's all in the band, right? And what do they play? Let's get into that.
So we got Nick. He does singing, screaming, guitar, songwriting.
Okay.
I play drums, marketing.
Okay.
That's that about it. I mean, I scream. So I do. They let me
Yeah, you
scream.
vocals
sometimes.
too?
They let me scream sometimes.
Chance.
Yeah.
Well,
chance.
what's-
I'm all about chance.
What's a
Oh,
song
shit.
that you screamed in?
Richter.
All of them.
Okay.
No, you screamed in Richter.
Yeah, I screamed in Richter. You screamed in Things We Did.
Things we did. And then,
Pretty much all the other
Danger
ones.
Zone.
Yeah.
Also, the I don't know. I guess the chorus is just incredibly catchy. It's like a very like
Things We
it's
Did?
very pop
Yeah,
punk, yes.
Oh, it's great.
But then it just converts, and by like 2/3 of the way into the track, it just turns into some mad guitaring,
Yeah.
and I'm just like sick.
That's-
and then it goes back to like pop punk, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
That's Nick and I's moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
yeah.
get some breakdown thrash over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting it, and I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, somehow it works so well, though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, you can blend a lot of things together, but it just has to be done good. Like,
Yeah.
as long as it's done well, it really doesn't matter if you like threw in some random, even like rapping into a bit, but it was technically a hardcore song. But as long as it's done well, it doesn't matter, and it just comes out great.
It's funny with that song, that's probably the first song we ever was like, every note.
Yeah.
And we sat in the studio. We sat in the studio and like, I mean, we probably had 3 sessions, so 3 days. We wrote it in 3 days from start to finish, and was like,
Cool.
it would be like, man, let's put a snare roll here, or man, it should be fast and do that like fast choke thing, and then do it backwards in the next chorus. Like, we probably had 3 sessions getting up together and writing that, and
And that's the thing. Like, I know people get heartburn about like. I'll say like, see, I'm coming from a drummer standpoint. Live drums, they're a dream, and we're gonna do it one day. But we can't wait on live drums. We can't afford to do live drums. So like,
Yeah.
what he's
It doubles
talking
the
about,
cost of
when
production.
him and I just sit in there and like, he's been engineering and knows my drumming style so well. Sometimes I don't even have any edits. I rarely have any edits because
Yeah.
Nick just knows my whole style.
yeah, I mean, we've been playing together almost 20 years. Yeah.
So I'll sit there and be like, oh man, add a snare roll real quick. And of course it's all digital and shit like that, but like, it's done. sounds fucking great. It's what everyone else is doing.
I think a lot of people nowadays would be
I wouldn't
extremely
worry about it.
surprised.
Oh, I don't. I just
Nah.
some people
A lot of
really
musicians
care.
ask. That's a question that the old school musicians, I get that a lot.
Okay.
Is it programmed drums? Yeah, it is.
It is.
I think that they are going to be heartbroken if they were to go on the Wikipedia of programmed drums. They're going to get their heart broke to figure out what albums
Okay,
are.
well, if y'all
You know?
go and play a show though, right, and you're playing whatever song, as long as you can play it there, what does it matter?
Right.
And we can. That's the thing where
Yeah.
I bring it back up. He knows my drumming. There's some things that we've had to tailor back a little bit when it comes to like, you can really speak to this if you want. Like, hey, let's, we've learned through playing, recording our vocals so much. Like we had to tune
Right.
down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just we're learning these things, which is cool as fuck,
Yeah.
honestly.
Now,
Yeah, that's been the whole
bass,
fun
you
part.
got a lot of leeway when you're playing live. The same with drums. I'd say those two instruments, you have a lot more freedom to go way off of the norm for that track, and no one would be the wiser.
Like an accents.
Right, for sure.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Guitar, you can't really do because everyone has the riffs memorized.
Right.
Same with the vocals. You can't say different words.
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No pressure.
Yeah.
But bass all day, dude. You could, as long as you have a bass.
As long as you're in
line,
key, man, and in tune. Just be in tune,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're discovering him. You're pushing out content pretty quickly over these last since 2020 basically.
Yeah, right when
You got
COVID hit. Yeah.
you got pretty much like one a year. I know it didn't come out like that, but when doing the math, you got
That's about right.
four pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 12 pack dropped at right when we went up to Chattanooga. So this will tailor into this is what we definitely need to talk about on this podcast for real. So we got done with the 6-pack of bottles. We've been going to New Orleans, and I can't remember how it came up, but it's like a dream. It's like every artist's dream, kind of musician. We're like, man, let's go somewhere.
Retreat style.
Retreat style. Let's pull Dolise out of his apartment. God bless him. And let's get out of our element too, and let's go somewhere and record, like, Red Hot Chili Peppers, all that. Everybody wants to do that kind of stuff. So we did. And we booked an Airbnb in Chattanooga for a whole week.
Dude, funny you say that. Like a few months ago, we went to Chattanooga, got a cabin, being friends, and it just totally regenerates you. And
Absolutely.
Just a total refresh on life.
Yeah, we know about that, yeah. And so we rented this Airbnb on the top of a Lookout Mountain,
Yep.
Okay.
and it was so good, man. It was perfect, and we ripped out the closet and made a whole vocal booth out of it.
We brought power tools with us, dude. Yeah.
And if you would just walk out every morning, dude, on the back porch, you would just overlook one of the valleys going into Chattanooga. I mean, talk about inspiration and shit like that. But man, it was really cool.
It was a great experience.
Wake up every day, get to it.
Cool.
And so we did a lot of that, and that was one of the first retreat stops. So that's where Dirty Games and a lot of really shit-faced, Little League, some of our biggest hits came from that. And so we get done with that, and we send it to one of I think we posted it. So we released Dirty Games, which is the first one off 12 pack. And this is middle of COVID, April 2020.
Which were at the time, Robert Goodspeed during COVID
this is cool
was
stuff.
renting us Night Moves as a practice space. So we were practicing in Night Moves.
Oh,
so
so
we
cool.
shot the video in there
so
for
cool.
Dirty Games.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Yeah, with cell phones. We did that with cell
Thank
phones.
you.
Yeah.
For real, that
That was like the height of the lockdown. Yeah.
That was it was so great he did that for us. And so that released, we shot the video in there, and then Jared Taylor, one of our old friends, and we'll go back, we gotta talk about that real quick and transition, is hit us up. And I was just like, man, I really like this fucking Dirty Games song, and cool. So we're going
Thursday nights, what I mean?
we're like, okay, so let's keep going. Where are we going next?
Yep.
And we're like, what's Jared doing? We haven't seen him or partied with him in a long time. He's out in Texas and San Antonio. He's got his whole this is right at the infancy of Black Rifle kind of thing. Coffee.
Okay.
So,
Which one of the main Black Rifle things is up there?
the distribution in Nashville.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. And we're like, we're gonna do singles this time. 6 singles. Because that's what the internet wants,
Which I don't know if I'm fully convinced on that, but we'll keep
It's
going.
a whole marketing thing.
We're spitballing, bro. You know, we're still
No. I don't think y'all shouldn't have done that, but I don't know. I've been thinking about this lately. Everyone seems to be talking about, I think as long as you release the singles, albums don't really matter, and everyone's just like, nobody really plays an album beginning to end or anything like that. And I'm like, yes, when it comes to just maybe a random person off the streets and they aren't that huge into music and they just kind of listen to whatever on the radio, maybe that's their vibe, right?
Correct.
But in no way can you convince me that whenever I talk to anybody that like is actually really deep into music, that they don't care about albums.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I'm an album guy myself.
We are. We all
Yeah.
grew up with albums. We bought CDs and shit. You know what I mean? And
But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's just,
But so I do want to touch base on one thing. So leading up to Six Pack, when it came time to do Six Pack, or not Six Pack, leading up to 12 Pack, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we knew we were going to do Retreat Style. We had the whole album written on my old laptop. My laptop crashed a month before we left. And it was like unreconcilable, like all of the tracks just gone. And I was like, look, I can either pay a bunch of money to fix this laptop or I can go buy a new one and we can just rewrite the entire album in 4 weeks. And that's what we did. We scrapped every song that we had leading up to that and rewrote the entire album 4 weeks before we left for Tennessee. And
now I'm hoping as you actually started working on one after one, you start remembering most of it anyway.
Nope.
And you start, no,
of course we remembered it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, we were like, all new songs, and we just made a point to get up 3 to 4 times a week leading up to it was crunch time. We do good with deadlines, so we wrote every fucking song, and then now when I say we wrote the whole album, at this point we had recorded with Dolly so much that we would come with 60 to 80% of the song and be like, hey, we need a bridge.
Okay.
Help us form a bridge here.
Yeah.
Help us finish this out. So there was probably 5 or 6 that were completely written, and you can. My ear, anyways. When I listen back to it, some of the last tracks on the album, I'm like, yeah, we wrote that one on the fly,
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
I've listened to all y'all stuff, and I'm telling you right now, I'm none the wiser. So.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks, dude. Yeah. Well, that should be a message to all of the artists out there that want to dissect every note.
It needs to be.
Nobody's gonna notice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I hear you.
Yeah. So anyway, my bad. I didn't mean to get sidetracked or whatever. But yeah.
So we buy Dolise a plane ticket. You know what I mean? We fly out there, and we show up to Jared's, and we hadn't seen him, and this is very important for us to talk about. It's like, no, I keep saying this, and we show up to his place, and we ain't seen him for a while, and we're kind of like, yeah, man, let's party a little bit, because that's how we met Jared and stuff, and we wake up the next day. And we got our studio set up and everything. We transformed his
It was before the bar was there.
Oh, it was before the bars, for everything. It's like Jared was still doing his office in there. I mean, some of the Black Rifles. It was they were still evolving, pretty much. And Jared's like, let's get in the pool, man. At 8 or 10 a.m. We're like, nah.
No, it's work time, bro.
It's work time.
The producer's here. It's time.
So, after day one, he goes and gets in the pool, comes and starts hanging out with us and stuff like that. And we started on Lunch Lady, and which is one of the best punk songs we've ever fucking written, and starts catching on a little bit, and he's like, oh god, they're working.
Now I'm listening to these, but I don't know the title names or anything like that. So if you're what EP are you talking? You're talking about
These are singles, but.
Did it fall into an EP or just
no? They're all singles.
Okay.
But we released all the singles at once. So
because at the time we had 6-pack of cans and 6-pack of bottles
already out.
In 2019. So at this time our goal was 2 a year.
Okay.
We wanted to do 2 records a year.
Okay.
And so we did 12-pack, and we released 12 pack in what, like June or May or June or something?
April.
It was April
2020.
Okay, so
Something like that.
we
I don't think
had.
I've listened to Lunch Lady, and now I kind of want to.
Oh, it's
So we have those. You'll have to find it on. It's on the singles and EPs.
It makes
part
me
of it.
sweat, bro. That's one of those songs where like
Yeah, that's a good one.
that's a hard
That's a
one for
fun
me.
one.
That's a tough one, man. For me, I mean, it's God, it's fucking.
Like you're sweating and the drums are
Yeah. Oh, it's
sir.
all DB,
Yes, sir.
man. It's all 200 BPM, man. It's a fast funk song.
okay.
man.
It's all consistency, you know.
Okay.
It's all
Yeah.
consistency. But
Yeah.
but yeah. So we get through that one, and I think "Let You Go" is next or something like that. So this is another like rock song we had, and again, Casey and y'all wrote this. And so we get in there and we transformed Jared's closet again, another closet into a fucking vocal booth, and he's like, I can't remember how. This is Casey's a little bit, but he was like, "Hey man, let me get on. I like this song. Let me do some vocals on it." And we all know Jared can sing, and then we'll bring it back and say like you're talking about. But we're like, yeah, why not? Fuck it, dude. So he gets in there, fucking nails it on "Let You Go," and does the choruses and the verses or what I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
we're all kind of standing behind Elise like,
Okay.
man, this is
He's
really
freaking nailed
good.
it. Awesome.
Which we always knew he could sing, you know. And at first he was like, yeah, we want to, he was like, let me be on a song. Remember? Because he told you, he was like, when he heard Dirty Games, he's like, I want to be on a song. And that's when we
Right,
planned the
that's
whole
right.
thing.
That's right.
So we did Let You Go, and he comes out of the booth, and we're all just kind of like, man, that was really good. Dude. You know, you fucking crushed that. And it was so funny because
It's like
him and Casey were in the booth, and they were like whispering. We could remember that. We could hear him on the mic. They were like, dude, it was so
One or
funny.
two takes nailed it, dude.
Yeah,
Nailed
knocked it out, and then he was like, well, what song is next? And I don't remember what song we did
Fire.
next. It was Fire?
Fire.
Yeah, so he was like, we were like, you want to be on this one? He was like, yeah, why don't you just let me be in the band? And we were like, all right, that's cool. So he ended up being on the rest of the singles, man, and we finished it out together, man, and freaking, it was really cool.
So to bring it back and how this all evolved and
Yeah.
how this all we know each other and you know that kind of cool shit is like, so let's take it back to Drayton Sawyer. So this is when I just got out of college, transitioning, I'm passing through
2010, 11,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, I'm passing through, man, and I'm hanging out, met someone and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm sticking around for a while, and they're like, man, we need a screamer or something like that, and I was like, I don't know how to fucking scream, sure. So I tried it out and they let me in. So that's how Drayton Sawyer started,
Okay.
and I'm like the second phase or something like that.
Yeah.
Because John Shriver was the first one. So they had a reputation. They're all my good friends.
East Milton boys.
Yeah.
We all from the other side of the bridge, dude.
Bro,
yeah.
we're practicing in his old trailer, the room smaller than this, man. It was crazy, like where we came from, with mattresses on the wall. It's just. So we go play a festival in Cantonment, and this guy's giving this music video away for the winner of the show. You know, like this vote of the crowd, and we're like, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna play the show anyways." We always tell the story the same way. But it's the middle of summer, man, and we got our girls out there. We're drinking, you know what I mean? Because the other bands are like nonchalant. There's a kid band over there. They can't even. They have their mom and dads with them. And Jared's in a full suit.
Full military, clean shaven, you know.
Oh, he's got some beads, and we're like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Man, I looked y'all up." He was like, "Cool, man. I'm giving the music video away, or in a song, a single too, or something like that." We're like, "Fuck yeah!" So we get up there, kill it. We think, and
Oh, we were killing it at the
yeah,
time.
we were.
We had just came out with a great record, like had been touring pretty consistently. Like at that time, we were fucking really hitting on all cylinders. Like that's probably, I was thinking about it today, man. All day I've been thinking about this, man. And like, at that time, I think that was the best era of Drayton Sawyer, when we were the tightest. Because we lived in a little shitty trailer in East Milton, and like, that's what all five of us did, was we got off work and we practiced 4 to 5 days a
Now,
week.
East Milton, are you talking about like John
Ham Road?
Ham Road, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Yeah.
right on. Yeah. John Ham Road.
That's it.
That's
That's
it. Yeah, dude.
I was like, that's the one.
Yeah, yeah.
And we get done playing, he comes up to us and he's like, man, y'all fucking rock, or something like that. It's like, man, I don't give a fuck who wins this music video. I'm doing your music video for free. And hey, you guys like to fucking party, man. And we're like, yeah, we do, obviously. He's like, well, why don't you come over to my house later on, man? We're like, well, where do you live? And he's like, in Navarre. fucking 15 minutes from East Milton.
Right.
87.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So we were like, all right, fuck it. So we get all our shit, we just go out. I mean, and so we didn't end up winning, but he did it for us anyways. And so Gary Stevens, I don't remember was
Dude, you don't end up winning. Is this like a vote for?
Yeah, it was a vote-based thing.
Yeah.
And we lost because there was we came in a hard second, and like this one band from a church group had their whole congregation there. And it was all vote-based.
They're all 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their
Yeah.
parents. Their whole family came out. And so
Yeah.
it was all
Popularity.
volume, you know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up just started hanging out with Jared. And he does our music video, and that's Machete's First Machines
Yeah.
from Drayton Sawyer. And that's one of Jared and Gary Stevens. I don't think, was Dave there?
Dave Reardon was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
he was
Dave
living with
Reardon,
Jared.
and yeah. So they're very important because they basically started Black Rifle. This is
They're all still part of it.
and Gary's still the creative director. Like, so this is their infancy. They're like,
Okay.
we have cameras because Jared invested in some gear. He was like, let's go shoot this video. And this is some of the core people. This is their first thing they had ever shot on a music video.
Can I go rock a piss real quick?
Yeah.
Alright, go first.
Awesome.
Welcome back. And
That was a good piss.
so he moved out to Salt Lake, did his thing, and so during that time, they're starting Black Rifle. I'm kind of out of the scene in music.
Well, we're doing Arson Wave at the time.
Right, he's doing Arson Wave.
Because we were still working with Jared during Arson Wave and stuff.
Correct.
One of the videos we did was Bitch I Operate, which he shot, and was the second music video we ever did in like 20 years.
Just a
dude.
handheld kind
Yeah,
of.
shot it in my garage, man.
handheld.
Yeah. None of us have egos. We don't take ourselves too seriously. You know, like we spitball, man, and like we throw it against the wall, see what sticks, man. And like then we kind of have a rule that it's another unspoken rule that like if you have an idea and you want to carry it out, if everybody kind of votes against it, and you're really passionate about it, and you want to get everybody on board, you kind of got to do a little bit of your legwork to bring it along a little bit,
Right.
and then really present it as something. And then if everybody sees how passionate about it you are, everyone will get on board and support
Like,
you.
fuck it, dude. You seem to really care. I guess we're
We're gonna back you up on this. Yeah.
And that's kind of like the thrash songs that him and I like.
Yeah, dude. I know. Cheers.
And some of
if we
those,
had our
like-
way, we would be a fucking thrash punk band, dude. You know,
We
straight
would.
up.
Now,
Yeah.
punk is my origin favorite core of like any type of music. It's just like technically hardcore, right?
Absolutely,
That's the origin
Absolutely.
of hardcore, and that's what I always go to. Like, and it can bleed into like late '80s with like Bad Religion and whatever, right?
Yeah, I'm a
like
big Bad Religion fan.
like the
Oh,
early
AFI
90s
too.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
So that's like my pocket is like late '80s, early '90s, like.
Well, that's the
punk.
good shit, dude.
Oh yeah, the first two This Saturday albums, we were listening to AFI, just revisiting.
And MX.
You know, yeah, MXPX too.
MXPX,
man.
NoFX,
yeah,
Flagwagon.
A lot of
the
NoFX.
Flagwagon. Oh, what a great band, dude. Love Flagwagon.
That's where Lunch
That's
Lady,
my pocket, dude.
Lunch Lady is like, you'll love Lunch Lady, dude.
Okay.
You go look, you'll love Lunch Lady, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's so good, man. It's
So you're familiar with AFI. So if you listen to the song "Spun,"
Yeah.
is that on Bottles? I think that's on Bottles. That is like Fall Children. I listened to
Okay,
Fall Children
that's it.
over and over
Yeah,
again.
that's it.
And I was like, man,
That's my heart, Fall
since I was like 13, I've loved the riffs in Fall Children. Just the whole bridge at the end, that's Spun, dude. To
That
a T.
era, and then right after Fall of Children, that was like an EP, and then it bled into that following album, Days of Phoenix. Or
Yeah,
all that. What's it
that's
called?
not Black Sails. That's fucking
It's not
Sing
Black
the Sorrow. Sing the
Sing
Sorrow.
the, no, Sing the
that's
Sorrow
before Sing the
2003. That's the one with like
That one, that was the first album from them. I was like, man, come on,
yeah,
man.
they started to change.
Yeah.
The one before that, and I wish I could remember the name because it's my favorite album, which really sucks. But
Man, what is the name? The Art of Drowning.
Yes,
That's what it is.
thank you, dude.
Man, Days of the
That's
Future is one of
the
my
one.
favorite songs from them.
That's
man.
the one.
Man, absolutely a great band.
Yeah.
And you ever watch those like YouTube? It's like AI generated or whatever, where they do the documentaries on the histories of the bands or whatever.
No,
I watched
AI
one
generated history
recently,
of
and it was. I watched one on AFI, and it was really good, and like it had a really good point. The cool thing about, and I always hated the stuff after when Sing the Sorrow on. You know, I was
Me
like
too.
Miss Murder and all that. I was like, man,
I hate
come
to be
on,
a
man.
hater.
Yeah, right.
But I just loved it too much.
Man, that documentary really put it in perspective, and they are a band that changed their sound 4 to 5 times and was successful with it. And they've stayed.
Now, I
it's all the
still
same
listen-
members too, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
still listen to it. I still like it, but it just doesn't hit as
yeah, no, man. They like
I
that old
agree.
school stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I Want to Get a Mohawk was like early 90s, right? And eventually bled into like kind of the starting of like emo, but it was like emo punk,
Yeah.
like horror punk or whatever.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
in that era, that's like
Yeah.
the perfect pocket for me.
Man, I remember when they came out, everybody called them a Misfits ripoff, and I was like, man, they're better than the Misfits, man. You know?
I agree.
I saw No Use for a Name or something like that open for NoFX in Jacksonville, and when I tell y'all I had to get out of the pit because it was so crazy, and this is when I'm fucking 25, man. They played the whole Decline that show.
Dang.
It
Wow.
was insane, y'all.
That's cool.
Oh my god.
So I have a Blink-182 tat on this arm, and then I got like an anarchy symbol right here, and that's basically
You rebel.
Yeah.
Rebel. Yeah, I should
Hell yeah.
get that on my fist and like.
You are an elder millennial.
No denying it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh man, speaking of Blink-182, Dude Ranch, and then those 3 albums, Dude Ranch, and
Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Those 3, man.
Fucking gold.
Those are my go-to.
Yes.
Man. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, Enema, I mean, that's.
Enema of the State, I would say, is technically the peak of the band.
It is.
That's kind of like
Absolutely, and that's when
Yeah.
they first got Travis too, man. And
Well, really, the peak would be the one right after the
Take
like
Off
Enema of
Your
the
Pants.
State Strikes Back, the live album they did.
yes,
Yeah.
with the single on it, man.
Yeah,
God,
the Man Overboard is on that.
that's my favorite song.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think that's
That one-
technically the peak.
So Travis wasn't on Dude Ranch?
Yeah, no,
No.
He wasn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
no, he's on
That was
Enema.
Scott.
Oh,
Yeah,
got you.
he started Enema.
That's
Yeah.
wild, yeah.
That's why their sound just
transformed.
instantly
yeah.
transformed.
Yeah.
Like, and people were like, "Why is this guy playing so fast?"
Yeah.
As a drummer, and I'm 16, so I've been playing the drums for 2 years. I don't know shit. Because I didn't go to band practice. I mean, I taught myself, by ear and stuff. And I was like, I'd listen to that dude. And I'm like,
Well, there was a ton of punk bands prior
on?
to go fast, but it was never fast yet technical. He was the
Right.
first to keep up to the speed of like a Bad Brains, right?
okay, yeah,
But-
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Technically being like one of the like 10 out of 10 on a technical level and speed. And then it was like a game changer, right? And then before that, I would say the best drummer was probably like the Russian drummer.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, old Neil Peart. Yeah.
God, where did I leave off, Jerry? We met him anyways. So we've known him basically. Bottom line, we've known him for fucking almost 14 or 15 years.
Yeah.
And he's always supported us, always had our back and stuff like that, and likewise. And now he's in the band, dude. It's like evolution or volume or like version 2 of our band when we brought him in. So like, and now everything is just kind of like shapeshifted.
Now,
in a
what does
really
he
cool
do
form.
currently?
He sings.
Yeah, he's the lead singer
And
now.
he's
Yeah.
a songwriter as well.
Yeah. For a while, he was doing rhythm guitar, and
Yeah.
as it's progressed on, I mean, man, he's just such a good singer, man. He really is. And even back in the day, we used to have parties, and he would bust out the accordion and sing Irish songs and
That's
stuff.
funny.
Like,
Kills it, dude.
I mean,
Fucking
just-
kills it, bro.
great singer, man, and like loves funk music. He's from the same generation as us, man. So
Same age.
all the same bands. We love all the same bands.
I was born in '88.
Right on, yeah, 87.
I'm 84.
Yeah,
And he's
So,
85, I think. And
Something like that.
Casey's 86 or
Yeah,
whatever. I mean,
Casey's
we're
like
all-
80. He's old like you know what I mean?
I know. I'm the old motherfucker, dude. And that's the crazy thing about all the guys and everybody we work with, and production, the producers, Jared's crew, our friends. Man, we're all in our late 30s right now. Like it's all weird. It's not like there's weird odd childs, which kind of just fascinates me a lot from a business standpoint. That we've all kind of like came back together after these years. Man, it's cool as fuck, dude. Because Dave Reardon runs Time for Pie.
Yeah.
Did want to? I mean, we got Gary over there that's still at Black Rifle.
Now, Time for Pie. What's that?
It's a podcast that Jared and Caleb Francis and Dave Reardon do.
Okay. What do they like? What's the theme of it?
They just get on there and just talk about weird topics and shoot the
bullshit.
shit. Yeah. It's great, man. I mean, it's good comedy.
Yeah.
So, but that's how we know Dave, and he does our photos, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's done some old school Drayton Sawyer photos too, man.
Crazy.
when they were all living in Navarre, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got at least 3 songs that we're about to release. So we've got one that's going to come out in a few weeks.
Well, the thing is, the last album was 2021, technically.
Yeah.
So, like, is there an album being made, or is it more of like another EP?
Well, these singles, Things We Did was actually going to be the start of 12 Pack of Bottles. Okay. And so we teed up and we wrote about 6 or 7 songs, and we had started on 12 Pack of Bottles. But everybody gets busy, man. We all own businesses, right. And like just life, man. I got 3 kids and freaking just life, man. You know. So we were just like, man, you know, we weren't meeting the timeline that we wanted to meet by the end of the first quarter. So we were like, let's take Things We Did. It's already done. Let's go to New York, do the video, and then we'll release that. And then we have another one called Good Night, which I am fucking stoked about, bro. Which is
better.
What's the style?
It's Lunch Lady, but version 2.
MXPX 182.
MXPX to the T, dude. Okay. It's.
We'll show you whenever we wrap up.
When I think MXPX, I think of No Responsibility.
Oh man, what a good song!
Yeah.
Hey man, so crazy thing. Like, to bring it back to New York real quick, like some crazy shit that happens. You know, that's meant to happen. They were playing a fucking show on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear the most recent one? It came out in like 2020, and it like
MXPX?
The Ataris,
No.
And I didn't realize it even existed because I haven't listened to them in forever. It totally just blew me out of the water. Like, holy crap! But its listens is like so low, and I'm just always trying to preach the gospel, dude. You have to listen to that latest.
I will definitely. I'll listen to it on the way home, dude.
It's so good. So MXPX is playing the Atari.
We just saw when we go up there to do the song for the music video, we're like, they have a show here, you know. And so we went, and like, this is one of the bands like that really has hit us hard, man. Like, what's the album that came out? They're self-titled in 2020.
Let It Happen. No,
it's self-titled. It's self-titled.
Okay.
It's the Teal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And that was one of the albums we listened to in 2020 that really got us like jazzed. And it's crazy because it's 4 years later and Good Night came out. And Jared wrote that, right? Didn't Jared come up with that?
Yeah. And talking about that, like, we were doing an album where, you know, it's started the fourth quarter of 2023. We're like, okay, we want to do a record, so we start writing first quarter of 24, and we're like, okay, Jared is actually sending videos of him playing acoustic, because now by this time he's now our lead singer. By about the last 2 or 3 songs that we released, we've been like, Jared, you're just our lead singer.
Okay.
And so he's like playing acoustic and sending us songs, and we're like, all right, so we wrote 2 or 3 out of those 7 of him sending videos of him playing acoustic, and then I'll just go in the studio and we'll just make it happen. Yeah, just engineer and track it. Good Night, he sent it, and I called it a Jared Taylor song. He's gonna get so mad when I say that, but I called it a Jared Taylor song. It was like really slow, and like it was good, you know what I mean? But the keys were really good, and the vocal harmony, I just heard this thing in it, and I was like, this is what it's gotta be. I sent him the demo track, and he's like, man, this is awesome, but I have no idea how to sing it, man. And so I just kind of like hummed it. It was exactly what he wrote, just a little bit faster with a punk beat behind it. Man, came out I'm so excited to release it, man.
Yeah,
it's probably one of my favorite ones.
That'll come out probably 2 or 3 weeks before our first show, which is in San Antonio. And we haven't told anybody this yet, so I'll give you a nugget. We haven't told anybody this. 22nd, which is on a Saturday.
I mean, do you want me to cut that out?
No, dude.
June 22nd in San Antonio.
We got Zeus and a few other things. We got a bunch of comedians. They're gonna do like fills in our sets and stuff. It's a lot of like a lot of connections out there. And then once we get done with that, we're gonna come back here.
Okay.
So we're trying to figure out like if that's the handlebar or the vinyl. Probably the handlebar. We just don't know yet because of logistics and stuff like that. But
I always hope the handlebar personally. But the vinyl obviously can fit more people in it. So it's like, I don't know.
But do we want it to be? These are the things we're talking about. Like, do we want it to be more intimate?
Yeah.
Do we want it to try to make it bigger and like?
Yeah, because we'll sell the handlebar with our cousins and shit.
Oh, it'll,
you know what I mean?
I know, like, and that's without.
I mean, that's like 250 people right there by the time you get all of our.
Well, did you see what just dropped? The like Hawthorne Heights, Amberlin, all this stuff, and I guess they're gonna do like an outside thing. I don't know how they're gonna.
It's a big buzz.
Pull this off. Like,
I wonder if it's gonna be like that summer sweat thing.
They'll probably do it on Tarragona, right?
Yeah, they'll probably do the outside stage like they did for
that
that summer
just
thing.
close off the street and just.
Yeah, which was a really cool idea, man. All the food trucks
just
and
in the
stuff.
fucking middle of the summer, fucking hot as fuck.
Because you're talking like 5 or
Yeah.
6 gigantic bands. There's gonna be a lot of people.
Yeah. Me and the wife were on the bike that day, boy. I showed up. I didn't wear a shirt to that show, man. It was so fucking hot, man.
Yeah. Okay, 6. So you got that single coming. That's something to look forward to in a few weeks.
Multiple singles, yes sir.
Okay.
We're
probably gonna release all that too. I think. So.
All that's gonna be the next one, which is not gonna have really any like music video behind it or anything, but it's gonna be a great single, great pop punk with.
Now all
with
that is this a reference to all that Nickelodeon? What
Nope.
Okay. You're like all that.
It's about relationship stuff. But we have a chick guest vocal.
Okay, cool.
On the second verse, which is really cool.
What songs have you had somebody? Because I said that All That Remains one. Is there any other songs that somebody else featuring in?
Phil's our bro.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll ever see this, but goddamn it, I love you. Phil Lamonte is a great friend of ours and a great supporter.
Okay.
And what a champ! Like we were awestruck on that dude. Like when he showed up to the set for Richter. We're just kind of like, and we met him previously, you know. But
we're played with him in Arson Way.
We're still just kind of like, and we met him in Denver and all.
I'm legit mad at those numbers, by the way. It's like pretty low for like one of the greatest tracks I've heard in a long time. I'm like, come on. It makes me mad.
Beats me, bro. That's the music industry.
It is the music industry.
What are you gonna do, man? Spitballing, you know?
That was Josh Wilbur that produced that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Because he's done
Megadeth.
Did he do all the Sum 41 albums?
Yeah, Sum 41.
This is a legend.
Which have y'all heard the more recent one that just
he's
like
doing
Heaven
all
and
the
Hell or
remains.
whatever? It's actually really good. Sum 41's Heaven and Hell album. They dropped like a month ago.
Oh,
That's decent. It is good. I don't know if he did that. But
either way, I'm just saying.
But he did all the new All That Remains. I mean, he's a fucking legend.
Yeah,
Legend in the punk scene, dude.
Yeah.
And again,
it was so good. I was blown away when I listened to it, dude.
Sum 41?
No, that Richter.
Oh,
song.
yeah.
I was just like,
man, wow,
shit.
Thank you. Yeah,
easily y'all's favorite track, and it has nothing to do with the All That Remains feature. I mean, the guitar alone, it's just like.
We're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Should I take a piss if we keep going?
Yeah, go take a piss.
Sure, go ahead.
I mean,
you tell me, bro.
we're about halfway through this 24 pack. You know what I mean?
I can keep going, dude. It's up to you, bro. We can give you as much content as you want.
Oh, this is cool, man. Freaking, man. So, talking about that Richter cover. So, the reason I did part of the screaming on that was actually thanks to Casey, because when Fall of Ideals came out from All That Remains, I mean, we're talking like 05 or something when that album came out. Man, that album was like life changing for me, dude. Like, I was a Megadeth fan and Metallica fan, Pantera, Slayer, like all your typical 80s and 90s metal bands, man. Like, that was me, man. I was the metal kid. Like, while everybody was listening to like the Used and stuff like that, I was like Lamb of God. That was on that side, you know what I mean? So, All That Remains was like big deal, life changing for me.
There was a show, All That Remains, in Flames in Texas in that era, soon after that album dropped. And I mean, I'm talking like what was it, 23-hour drive. And I had to take like, a stop, rest in Louisiana, continue going the next day just to go to the show. Because I was just so obsessed with them and they weren't playing anywhere close.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to see them.
Dude, In Flames, legends.
Yes.
Absolute legends,
Yes.
man.
This was 07 and they just released, I can't remember the name of the album, but it's like a demon creature on like the cover. And it's like In Flames. And
This is early 2000s, right?
This is like 2007.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, anyway. But, yes, I was really big into In Flames and All That Remains. And I was like, I have to go to that show. And Guar was also playing too.
Guar.
That was just like, dude,
I had some of Guar's stuff on VHS back in the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so.
They still go hard, dude.
Guar, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, man. I swear, next time they come to vinyl, I'm taking both my boys, man. They're old enough now to go see that, man.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like one of those groups to where, like, I don't know, they've aged out and now they suck and they're slow or whatever. They play just as hard as they ever have.
Yeah.
Still now, and I'm blown away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they get all the cream of the crop musicians, too. Even though they wear all that stuff, it's somebody under that shit. It's somebody, you know? They got Toast and fucking Abasi probably under there wearing a goddamn, like, zombie mask.
I can only imagine how much they're sweating under dinosaur outfits or whatever the hell they're wearing.
Fucking, dude, it's wild, man.
Anyway.
We're any fans on stage.
But no, so talking about that Richter video, man, like, so when we did that song, Casey was like, Nick, I wrote you a screaming part for this. And he's like, because I want you to be on this with Phil and shit, because he knew, man.
Yeah. And you had the voice for it too, man.
Yeah, super metalcore song. That's probably our most metalcore song. When Phil showed up, man, it was like, it was the first time, so we had met him a handful of times before that in Arson Wave and stuff, playing shows with him, but like, never like had like an intimate reaction. Like, we all broke bread together. I mean, we had dinner and stuff like that.
We did.
Stayed in the same hotel together and like the same Airbnb or whatever, and it was really cool. So the first like 10 minutes that he's there, I was like,
fangirling a little too hard.
you remember when, you remember like This Darkened Heart? You remember that video y'all did in the desert, man? Like, you can taste the chaos, man, you know? But
First of all, taste the chaos, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, man. And freaking, and then when he did his whole screaming part, like, he does the whole, I call that a Phil, dude. He always does that.
So good, dude. Yeah, and their new album is sick as fuck, bro. We got a little taste.
Yeah, he sent us the demos not too long ago.
It's so good.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the previous. You're talking about
No, it's coming out.
Yeah, the one coming up.
And
Yeah,
John
he sent us the
Silver did
demos, and it's sounding fucking good, dude. And like, Jason Richardson is in the band.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, man, you can tell. You know, it sounded so good. Someone else another super guitar player that joined a band that I'm stoked to hear is Five Finger Death Punch, dude. So do you know who Andy James is?
No.
You're not familiar with him?
No, he's
So
not.
YouTube guitarist, like, man, I'm an old school YouTube fanboy for Andy James, dude. He's in Five Finger Death Punch now. He's like a Jason Richardson, but he's like 40 something, you know what I mean? But it's about to be sick. That's gonna be another good one.
All right. So you're about to drop all these singles, and I'm super looking forward to it. Man, lucky enough, I have yet to come across somebody that actually does suck, and I'm like gonna interview anyway.
You should just ask them that one bit, man.
Trying to like pretend or something, but no. And y'all numbers, I mean, I've been noticing when I was like looking back compared to now, like it's been rising a ton.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are like really starting to like
A lot
take
of
off.
what's funny is a lot of that is thanks to Danger Zone. And what's funny about that Danger Zone cover is we did that in Drayton Sawyer when he was the front man of Drayton Sawyer. And like, I was the drummer at the time, and I still, man, I'll sit down and play every Drayton Sawyer song, because that's how much we used to practice back in the day. Like, and I can't emphasize that enough. Our practice schedule back then, like,
it was intense.
man, 4 hours a day, like, no shit, 4 to 5 days a week, man. Like, I mean, we lived out in the country. I mean,
Did y'all drop that around the time of that new film dropping?
So we talked about it back then, but just time didn't come out. No, so we dropped that last year, end of last year sometime.
Well, when did that movie come out? I mean, that was
2 years ago. It's been out a year or two now. Yeah.
Danger Zone?
Yeah.
No, my friend.
What?
No.
We dropped Danger Zone.
Danger Zone's been out like it maybe like 4 months. 4 or 5
really?
months.
Oh,
yeah, don't
cool.
listen to him. He's been.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was gonna look. Yeah.
Either way, I was avoiding it because I was just like, whatever. I don't really care much about that. But then when I finally actually listened to it, just because I'm just trying to listen to everything, I'm like, this song sounds better than the original in my opinion. Like, I just love the how do I want to put it? I guess evolved it and like added a lot more drums and a lot more guitar than what was there originally. And in all the best ways. I think you just improved the track, to be honest.
Yeah, that's got the guy from Famous Last Words, JT, featuring on
cool.
it.
They're playing a show next week.
Here?
Fort Walton, we're going.
They are. I saw that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
we're fucking going. Absolutely,
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we were at 100,000 monthly listeners, but now we're at 86. We're about to hit 500,000 on Danger Zone.
Still, yeah, that song's taken off, and then because of that, a bunch of people are listening.
Which
to
is
the
what
rest.
you're talking about. You got me. Like it's the internet's just wild. Dude.
So that song,
it's
we used to play that in Drayton Sawyer, and
We did.
that song is exactly the way we played it in Drayton Sawyer. And about probably 2 or 3 years ago, I was just remembering, I was like, well, let's track this real quick, man. Let's just write this up. Let me track it. And I've had the instrumental on a hard drive for 2 years. And sometimes, I mean, spitballing, man, we just throw it against the wall. You know,
Well,
see
the
who
You Got
votes on it.
Me, it like the way the music is, right? It's that like, I don't know, almost like a Christmas movie kind of like backdrop. I don't know how else to describe it. But there's another song that kind of sounds a little familiar to that, and like a previous like album or EP. I can't remember the name of it, but there is like the same jingles and stuff in
It's gotta be
track,
Shotgun, the end of Shotgun.
Probably it is.
And I'm like,
Gun.
it is. That was the song.
We wanted
It almost feels like that, and you're like, that, and turn it.
That's funny, man. Yeah,
we were like, man, we gotta have some snaps.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
We loved that, dude. Oh, God, that was a good moment.
Yeah, that's so funny, man.
We're just in the studio. We're just like, I want some snaps, man.
Yeah.
Shotgun. Yeah.
So I was going through I found a hard drive. Well, I didn't find a hard drive. I plugged in an old hard drive and was like, just going through some old projects. And I was like, man, Danger Zone, let me listen to this. And I listened to it, I was like, damn, this is like already tracked. It's because intonation was all good, and because that's like a big thing, you know, you want to make sure your intonation is right when you engineer and stuff like that.
Right.
It's like, man, this is tracked pretty decent. So I sent it in the group. I was like, Jared, do vocals on this, and let's throw it out there. And he was like, okay, sick. And within a week,
The ladies gotta love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
he sent it to Nick Scott, and then crazy enough, JT from Famous Last Words was doing some stuff with Nick Scott in person out there, and so JT and JT know each other,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, let me get down on this real quick," and I can't remember if JT volunteered or we asked him to do it. I can't remember that bit, but he knocked it out. Got in there and fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Another great supporter of us, dude.
Yeah, and Nick Scott added the whole 8-string fucking section on the that song. So we got it back with JT featuring on it. It was like that John it drops on that whole part. I was like, man, do I need to go buy an 8-string now?
It made it.
Nick Scott sent just the fucking like sweat emoji face. He's like,
Yeah.
Now, what's the story with if I were to pick a top 3, right? It's gonna be Richter, it's gonna be You Got Me, and then another one is
That's so funny.
I know, it's
That is so
great.
funny. Because we wrote that song as a joke, man. Like not as like a joke. Well, I mean, as a joke. We were
I know
just
what you mean.
we wanted
We were
to
not
make it.
expecting
We just wanted to make it happen. We just heard this in our head, and we were all on the same page. And we were
kind of
like,
filler song. That's
Yeah.
well, maybe it's because I'm a Blink-182.
Well, that's
fanatic.
exactly what it is. That's what it is, dude. It's a Blink-182 filler, like
yeah. There's Party Professor. That's gotta be.
oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of Casey's
It's so
babies
fun.
right there.
It's so fun.
That's Casey.
That's Casey's baby right there. He wrote that song start to finish, man, and presented it to the band, and we were like, "That's it. Nothing needs to change. That was it."
Yeah, and it's to the speed of.
It's like a rock song, but it's in that like LFMAO kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Man, we had 2 producers tell us it needs to be sped up, and we wrestled with it for a while too. They were like, it needs to be sped up 10 BPM. And we were like, man, it's the speed of Happy Birthday.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
And that song we worked with Nick Sampson on.
Yeah.
And Nick Sampson is... God,
I'm glad y'all didn't change a thing. That track is, again, a top 3 for me.
Who's he?
Drift from Arrow.
Yeah, he does all Era. He does
everybody. Fit for a King.
Like, it's...
Dude, Fit for a King.
Man, love that.
Bro, these producers
they're so good live.
that we're working with are like, we're very grateful for, dude. I think about it all the time. Like, I cannot believe we're working with like some of the biggest fucking producers. And we don't talk about this until now. Like, like, we haven't told people this. Dude.
I think it's just because you're like, y'all had all of that, like, the previous work with the previous band to sort of grow from. And now when you start this Saturday, you pretty much just nail it from the start because you've already went through all the growing pains.
Yeah.
And now you're just phenomenal beginning to end of any of the work that's being put out.
Man, thank you. Sometimes it don't feel like that most of the time. You don't realize it while you're in it though,
Yeah.
It's one of the things.
Yeah, it's kind of like Richter, like, and Casey, Casey was here, man. He's always had a good saying, man. I'll murder it real quick. He's always like, man, he's like, man, we can write 100 songs, but...
We can write 100 B songs or write 10 A songs, but somebody's going to see the B song and that be their favorite song,
Yeah.
It's you, right? It's you right now. Like, we didn't, like...
you got me. I can't even remember. I probably haven't listened to that since pre-production.
Talking about.
I'm like, dude, come on, that's one of the best.
And that's why we. Bro, that is one reason, and I know it will. It's always been our Thursday talks or whatever we keep referencing. Is we did it intentionally to put so much content out to where, like, if someone does catch fire to one song, there's 50 other songs.
They've got all this other stuff to listen to. So.
It's not like just 1 or 2 albums or a single. To your point, it was very intentional. We did that.
I don't want y'all getting the wrong idea too of like you shouldn't do singles.
No.
You definitely should.
Trust me, that's something that we wrestle with. You know what I mean? We wrestle with that constantly.
And
I think both are important.
Well,
just do.
Many people in the industry that are way higher level than us, and management companies, they're like single every 4 months. It's the trend right now. There you go again.
Yeah, I broke the seal. There you go again.
I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
Hey, maybe they're right. I don't know. But I'm just telling you, I like it.
Yeah, that's where we kind of struggle with it, man, because...
Do what y'all want to do in the end. Just do what you want to do.
Right. Yeah.
If you want to just release singles all day, who the hell cares, dude? You release.
We really want.
Just do what you want. We
really want to do. Well, here's something cool we can talk about. Here's something we're doing right now. We're actually going to put our set list album out. So when June 22nd comes out, we have some shows we're talking about here for July.
I will definitely be there making videos or whatever, like performances.
Please, dude.
Blasting out. Because here's what I discovered in my whole like Scene Pensacola journey is no matter how huge or small a band is, I'm so shocked that when it comes to any of their live performances, you can't find any good like sounding material. And I'm like, it's like near impossible to find. And if I do find it, it's like a needle in a haystack, dude. And it's so incredibly rare.
Yep.
And I'm just like, well, now I feel really great doing this because now I'm actually getting these like live performances that actually sound great. And I'm like so happy I can finally bring something new to the table. And what sucks is like I'm doing all of this work and I'm like editing for like, I don't know, 10 hours on a single video, if not 20, and then it gets like 40 views and I'm like, whatever, dude, I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't care because I love it.
We relate with you, man. Like, I mean, there's that even in my business, man. I know what you're talking about, dude. Like,
but it's so hard to find a live performance where where the audio comes out good because it's always just poppy bullshit, and you can't even make out the vocals.
Because a lot of people play the fucking BA. mean, come on. We all know what's going on. We've talked. That's one of the things we've been wrestling with for a year.
Yeah, whether to go to Kemper's or live amps.
Because we like both.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's pros and cons to each. But at the same time, we love the raw guitar.
Both are important.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it.
And we have to have backing tracks. Everyone has backing tracks.
I like the
No,
convenience.
you have to have backing tracks. I'm not going to get into that conversation of
you
like
have to.
people are trying to convince people. No, it's not real unless you actually do it. No.
It's usually a drummer making that argument. You know what I mean? The drummer's like, I ain't playing with that fucking click.
Yeah, look here. No,
I want you, when you're drumming, I don't care if you're like playing it exactly how the recording was. I just need you to play to the beat of the song.
Right.
the groove.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can even make it even experimental and make it even better than the recording if you want to like add some extra
But not
stuff.
you. Not you.
Yeah.
Not you.
Stay
No.
I can free flow over here.
But I'm telling you, it's super key for a drummer to have fun on stage, way more than it is being perfect to the track.
Hey, they got on me about that last Saturday or the Wednesday. They were like, "Man, have a little fun.
Yeah, you should.
Quit being so robotic
Yes.
with the click." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yes.
but
Follow the click. Don't let the click fucking. You know what I mean?
correct."
Yeah.
But I love the click, man. I love that shit. I love in-ears, man. I love that stuff. Dude.
See, I'm that old school drummer and shit to where. So I was in Drayton Sawyer when the whole click track thing came about. Like when it was like, all right, it's time. And I always understood the necessity of it, but it fucking killed the live show for me, man. It just,
Because you get robotic about it.
yeah, but at the same time, we were a metalcore band. There's no room for improvisation, you know what I mean? It's all fucking. You just play the song, you know what I mean? Play it to the click, keep everybody on time, you know?
Yeah.
And man, it always separated me from the show and from what was happening because, man, back in the days when it was all of us, dude, we didn't play with no clicks,
Okay,
man.
imagine you're in the crowd. Put yourself in the fans' perspective and think of some of your favorite shows. What are the best beats? Whenever a song actually like evolves from its original form and turns into a greater performance than what you were expecting, that's some of my favorite memories.
So
right? It isn't a matter of exacting the track; it's a matter of like performing.
Yeah,
correct.
And that's one downside of the click too is, you know, something that we used to do all the time in the middle of our set was at the end of Machetes versus Machine Guns, before the last breakdown, we do this big ring out. And like I would come out from the drums, me and him would chug beers and shit. And pour beer on the crowd or like pour beer in somebody's mouth in the crowd. And you know, I guess you could hit space bar and find the click in, you know, to do that. But then you know, you're fumbling with your in-ears and stuff like that. And we used to do a lot of stuff. We were a party band, man. We used to do a lot of stuff like
party,
that.
man.
Yeah, you're fucking right.
Right?
Yeah.
No, have fun with the audience. Have fun on stage. Obviously, there's a fine line to it. You can't just be going too way outside.
You can't be James Williams.
Right. Oh, Jesus Christ. He never knew what he was playing. Yeah.
That's a ref.
And if you do go crazy,
shout out to James.
Get the rest of the band to not continue the rest of the track, and then maybe you can do a little drum solo or something crazy, and then go back to the song, whatever.
Well, you know, so something we talk about on that subject a lot is like, all right, so you're playing a small show in an intimate venue. You know, pick your audience that you're gonna play with your fucking clicks and do your full production and shit.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the asshole that shows up at like the Baptist church and hand them a left and right, and they're like, "Hey, we're on a full production here." You know, don't do that, man. You know, be able to play your songs. You know, but you know, you show up to a bigger venue. You know, like the Handlebar is now, and like you play at the Vinyl or something like that. You know, have your production, have your shit straight. You know, have your shit in tune. Don't fuck around.
Now, y'all are clearly good enough to where like y'all easily trust each other, and you know that somebody's gonna actually be able to know and play the song. So I don't even think that needs to be a thought in y'all's head anymore.
Right? Nah.
Well, we're just critical, man.
Yeah. Like it's that artist thing. You know what I mean?
It's the one part of the artist that we have in us to where like it's
every
there,
note,
but it's like we need it.
But you know how you can all like in any song that you're performing, especially as a drummer, you can add an extra roll of something.
I do it all the time.
And
I love it.
Oh yeah.
I love no one
If anything, it makes it better.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Definitely.
I love those moments. I love those accents moments. That's what. Yeah.
Man, my favorite thing to see bands live, just on that subject, man, is like when they do those long lead-ins to songs.
Yes.
There is one thing that comes to mind when I think about it, and it's not even necessarily one of my favorite bands, but Paramore has this live video on
My Heart.
It's from years ago, man. And the drummer comes out, he's like,
Yeah.
Awesome.
and then the bass comes in, and then the guitar comes in, and then they go into that one big fucking song that they had, man. I can't remember the name of it, but
There's a
That is a
live
long-ass
performance
intro.
of Paramore, and I want to say it's like Anaheim or something like
Yeah.
that.
So.
And anyway, it's like way back in like their first album days.
that's it. That's got to
And
be
she's
it.
got like the straight red hair and nothing more to it.
She lays down on the ground and sings it and shit
Yes.
like that. Yeah, that's the
That's
one.
got to be it. Anyway,
Yeah.
what I think you're talking about is the bleed in from the previous track into My Heart, and then at the end of that track, he goes into a whole extra minute of some screaming vocals that were not in the original track, and it's always one of my favorite moments because of that.
Love it.
And that's what that's a prime example of like, dude, have fun and entertain the audience when you're performing live. That's what's most important.
Yeah. Definitely.
Godsmack. I like Godsmack. don't get me wrong.
Amazing fucking live
But
show.
live was
They're
my
amazing.
favorite live performance I've ever seen in my life.
Metallica, Civic Center. Is that where you saw him?
No, it was Breaking Benjamin and Godsmack.
How was Breaking Ben, dude?
And
Were they
this
sing live? Was Breaking
this
Ben
was
sing
in-
live?
This was Civic Center, I don't know,
years ago.
2005 or 6 or something.
Oh, really?
Years ago, for
Ages
sure.
ago. But,
Yeah, because I thought y'all got tickets to that or something.
well, they did do
It wasn't
other
Breaking
things.
Ben. No, it was. I saw him with Metallica.
It was Korn, Breaking Benjamin, and Godsmack.
I thought you went to that.
And
Man, did he get up and do like the whole drum solo thing?
yes,
and stuff?
well
Love
they
that shit.
because Godsmack again, the singer is the drummer as well as you have the drummer, so they did a drum off between.
Yeah, I love that
Oh,
shit.
that whole thing is just so cool,
I
dude.
love that shit. We'll do that one day.
Definitely. Definitely.
We're doing that one
But
day.
those are the
When Jared
memories.
gets his white piano, dude, we're getting too much sex, dude. You know?
Dude, he needs a white suit.
Right, yeah.
He does. Yeah,
Definitely.
he's.
If he does, he probably has one.
Pull it a Kanye, you know.
And he's, come out there looking like
Oh, he does. That's Tim and Matt.
Yeah.
What's their rap?
their country music
Yeah,
thing.
they all wear white though. It's I can't remember, but it's
But these are the memories that you're always gonna hold, and what's most important out
Yeah.
of all of it than trying to exact a track.
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
that's just
right.
the point that I really want to drive home.
Yeah, Metallica always did that really well, man. I'm a huge. I have Metallica tattoos and shit, man. I'm a huge.
I
Metallica.
have a Ride the Lightning bands.
My man, I got Ride the Lightning right there.
he's
dude.
understating. He's
Yeah.
understating
Yeah.
how much he likes Metallica.
Man, I'm a big
When I've
Metallica
seen
fan.
Metallica more than him, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know for sure.
It doesn't make
Uh,
sense.
Dude, so the one
I've
thing
seen it
Metallica
twice.
always did, the one thing they always did well was they had those long interludes in the middle of their set, and it's like, man,
They're
it's
so
like
Such an epic.
that's what you come for, you know. You come for those experiences,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, they are. I saw them when I was 16. God damn.
Get out of your head, have fun,
Summer
make
Sanitarium.
a great show.
Jealous, dude. That was with Jason Newsted too.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. Fucking Limp Bizkit opened for that. And Deftones and Linkin Park.
Dude,
That's a show.
Crazy. Crazy.
I would actually love.
couldn't
Kid Rock too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Kid
no,
Rock.
that was the one before.
The ball with the bang, the bang.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw.
Oh, you're a Milton boy. You know some Kid Rock, man.
Yeah, he had strippers on both sides of the stage that show. The whole time. They switched out too, one time.
Damn. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think that will do it. I mean, thanks for coming on. Thanks for drinking beers with me.
No, thanks for
Awesome.
having us, dude. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
thank you,
nice.
man.
We really do care about, we care about the scene here, man. And, we want to give back, and, anybody needs help, or you, or anybody, just,
I'm here to help you.
well,
Genuinely,
vice
I'm
versa.
here to
Let me
help
give you some context. I mean,
I'm trying to get all these bands in the area to please see these guys.
Yeah.
Please listen to them. The numbers are not. I mean, you guys are A class, and you're getting these numbers that are C class, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
but we don't. It's a bittersweet moment for us when I say this because it's a hobby for us. We have fun. We don't put this out there every day, if that makes sense.
we're not banking on the next release to pay our bills.
I know that's not the reason. I'm just saying y'all deserve it.
Well, I know. I appreciate it.
Well, going back to, and let's just extend it about 5 more minutes real quick. So something that has changed from Arson Wave to what we do now. And I always point at him and say Arson Wave because me and him were the fucking planners of Arson Wave, man. And like this dude right here was a big part of that shit, man, behind the scenes, and like was never in the spotlight of that. But with Arson Wave, we like every release like teetered on us making money, and like that was the big downfall of that band, man. Because once things don't get the momentum that you expect them to get, everybody starts fucking pointing fingers at each other, and like that is so detrimental to a band.
I obviously don't want that to happen.
And we've lived through that. We've lived through that so many times. And like, if any of you local bands are listening to this, just fucking listen to this. You cannot expect it to just blow up overnight. Those days are long gone. The days of like record sales and like, putting your mama in a house and stuff, those days are long gone. And like, you have to slowly build it, and like, don't take it so seriously. Don't take yourself so seriously. And like, when we were doing Arson Wave, it was this whole thing where every fucking release, every note, every fucking thing had to be perfect. And when it didn't get what you were expecting it to get,
you got way too upset.
We start getting bitchy. And we start bitching at each other. We start pointing out each other's flaws, man. And you don't want that. And
bro, it's your shit, your fault. You fucking fucked up.
And they had the whole thing. The best artwork, the best music videos.
Right.
They had the top tier producers in the country, which was Josh Gilbert and Joseph McQueen. They are doing these things. What he's talking about, and land the plane here back to when we first started, is like that's why they're pissed off.
Yeah, that's why we're pissed.
I was like, dude, take it back, man. Just have some fun.
Well, let me repeat what I said. Have balance.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, take it seriously, but you got to have some reality as well. And like, the best thing we ever did was in the middle of transitioning from that band to this Saturday. We all had our careers going on. We had all started businesses right around that time. So we all kind of put our lives first and making money, like, because music is not going to make you the money that you ever want, man. And like,
it's not like that anymore.
We put our focuses on our lives and treated this more like a hobby, like as if like we had a race car or something and raced at the dirt track.
Absolutely. The last reason I'm doing this for is because of the money. I'm telling you.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's the very last reason I'm doing this.
So we put the music.
Well, if we can get you some money, we'll get you some money.
We started treating it as like a hobby, as somebody who paints on their back porch and sells it at the flea market, and that same kind of mindset. And it's the best thing we ever did because we don't give a fuck, man. And we've met, and like I'm not like bragging here or nothing like that, but like we've met like quite a few like high level people, and like that has afforded us the ability to walk into the room with these high level people and not give a shit, man. I don't need anything from you.
If y'all weren't good to the talent that y'all were, that then wouldn't be possible, right? So that alone proves that y'all are actually good if people of higher ups are actually liking to what y'all are doing, right? Why would they even talk to you guys?
I agree with that to an extent. I think some of it comes into is even through all those years though, we never fucking turned our nose up to anybody. We were always willing to meet people, and like we were always cool with people. We always fucking partied, and drinking fucking beers has afforded us a lot of opportunities, man. It really has, and it's put us in the room with a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
It's closed some doors too now. You know what I mean? But it's opened more than it has closed them. And so the whole moral of that thing is don't take your fucking self too seriously. It's not the end of the world, man. Just throw it against the wall and see what sticks, and just fucking love it and have fun with it. And
have passion.
And that's it.
Yeah, right. Have fun.
Have passion, drive it. That's it. That's it, bro.
Anyway, I love it. I'll see you guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Bye, see ya. Bye.